I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark. Hi everyone, happy Scorpio full moon. Getting your readings posted up. Wanted to take a moment to let you know that the April Spring Special is still going on until the end of this month, until the 30th of April. So take advantage with this full moon reading. If you would like to get your ego soul reading, that is your Western astrology, your moon sign, your Sabian symbol, when you were actually born. All of that is really important because you want to see what actual phase the moon was in when you were born, and what is the vibratory frequency of your emotional state as it relates to your intuitive sense and your Vedic astrology. And so your Vedic astrology is going to look at that, as well as the nakshatra of your moon, which is going to really give you greater insight for these readings. So people are taking advantage of that. That's awesome. This is very important at this particular time. We're talking about Aries vernal spring season and this Scorpio full moon season, which is about this rebirth, this regeneration, so that we shed everything that's old, moving into the new. That being said, the energies for the particular celestial combinations and conjunctions and transits that are occurring now, that I'll go into a little bit in your reading. Of course, we focus on the lunar energies. And so generally for your collective celestial unconsciousness of your moon sign, we'll talk about it. But it's more of an upgrade now, I would say, from who you have been and what you have been working with to manifest what your initiatives are. Okay, from the Aries new moon wishes for the new moon in Aries that were just posted for the new moon reading. So if you want to go back and look at that, go to greatmotherspeaks.info underneath the vlog tab to see your suggested new moon readings from your new moon reading in Aries. We're going to follow that through to this full moon and look at what Great Mother is saying about the rebirth and regeneration that is occurring as a result of that seed being planted for you at this time. Now, they were suggested, and so you'll have your own new moon wishes, or you probably don't have any at all. If this is your first time watching Great Mother Speaks, we are looking at how we can experience our divinity as children of the Great Mother, Father God, by utilizing the energies within us. We are made of stardust in order to always stay in the reality that we are dearly loved children of the Great Mother, Father God, who are never condemned or left alone. That is often taken away from us when we especially experience alienation or estrangement from our birth mother. I specialize as a life coach in mama drama trauma, and so this channel is really designed as a supportive tool. It gives supplemental information and tips to my clients and people who may have mama drama trauma or love those who do. My particular brand of it is that I was born to a very loving woman, as all of us are. She expresses her love in various ways, which we see throughout the deck, the various gods and goddesses. We all have our own unique combination of energy as children of the Great Mother, Father God, as my mother did. Excellent mother, the best. As an adult, I experienced a woman who developed a severe addiction to alcohol. And this is where the onset of my MDT took hold, okay, as an adult woman. And so I have had both worlds, and the individual that is my mother is a stranger to me. I don't know who that person is. I am open to healing that relationship as I have healed myself, and I have assisted others in healing their mama drama trauma. There may be closure in this lifetime, there may not be, but I am continually learning the lessons. And as it relates to this full moon in Scorpio, the rebirth and regeneration for me has had to do with upgrading my particular brand of loving detachment to being even more open to reconciliation. I don't feel that it will occur. There has been no indication of that other than in my interior space, Great Mother speaking to me that for my emotional health, balance, and clarity in my life moving forward, it's very important that I open my heart and expand my heart more to that possibility, as opposed to staying in the protective mode of, okay, I'm okay, I've accepted this is the reality, I'm moving on with my life. Okay, and so Great Mother continues to work with us throughout our lives. This is what I'm seeing with clients and readings that I've been doing about this full moon energy coming up. And so for your reading, you will get a recap on the suggested 5 wishes from the Aries new moon coming forward to this Scorpio full moon. I want to also let you know that Uranus is leaving Aries from its 7-year transit into Taurus on the 15th of May, which is also the new moon in Taurus. So this particular lunar cycle from Aries new moon to Taurus new moon is very, very important, because we're going to begin to have a real soul unction to seed what the desires we have been working on, how we have identified ourselves over the last 7 years. So again, just using myself as an example, how I've re-identified myself as someone who has survived MDT and now has been supporting others to live in loving detachment from their mother so that they can heal their own MDT. Now with Uranus moving into Taurus, it's about seeding that, planting that as a value in your life, and the financial benefits of that, the physical experience of that. Okay, I'm getting more interaction with people. For example, with the Mama Drama Trauma Support Group, you can go to the link on online bookings if you want to become a part of that. Anyone can be a part of that on Monday into Sunday and Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So much going on, see? And for you, it's probably a lot going on as well with this transition from Aries into Taurus. So I want to let you know that with that, even though Scorpio is in its full moon phase, your particular moon sign may be in its waning crescent phase or its balsamic moon phase. It may be in its first quarter moon phase during this lunar cycle from Aries new moon to Taurus new moon. Okay, Scorpio is in full moon phase. Okay, if you're Capricorn, you're waning crescent. You know, Sagittarius, well, a smaller waning crescent. You know, and et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm going to start talking about how those energies affect your reading, because I'm seeing through the readings that I'm doing that really also has a tremendous effect on present real-time issues, which is what we address each new and full moon reading. I also want to let you know that because this is the reading before Mother's Day, that I will continue the special for those of you who are mothers or who are experiencing mama drama trauma and want to have a reading, or you want to give the reading to someone who is wanting to heal their own mama drama trauma. So only for individuals who are interested in learning more about mama drama trauma does the Lunar and Great Mother Speaks reading special from regularly $85 and $65 to $50 extend from April 30th. So Mother's Day, I believe, is the second Sunday in May. Is it the second or first? Whatever Mother's Day is. Up until Mother's Day, you can still book for MDT related issues or questions in your life that you're wanting to heal as a Mother's Day gift from me to you. So with no further ado, these are your Scorpio full moon readings. Well, hello, Taurus, Gemini moon people. Welcome to your Scorpio full moon reading. This is occurring on the 29th and 30th of April. So we are looking at Taurus, Gemini. Taurus, Gemini is in your crescent moon phase right now in this particular lunar cycle. You know, Great Mother Moon goes in and comes out of each sign every 2.5 days. The entire lunar cycle is 28, 29 days. And so she stays in one of the 12 signs for about 2.5 days and moves on to another. And so from the new moon, which was in Aries on the 15th, until the new moon on April the 15th, she goes through all the signs. And so during this cycle, when she was in Taurus Gemini, it was during the crescent moon phase. And so that was right after the new moon. And so that means that the energy that you bring to this lunar cycle is one of planting. You know, that crescent moon is that planting moon phase. And so just generally, that's the energetic field of Gemini for this entire cycle. So want to let you know that. And so you're kind of just generally feeling a need to plant something new, or you're really, really vibing with this vernal spring equinox and bringing something forward into fruition that you've been planning and plotting. But this Libra Scorpio full moon is in your 6th house. It's really not a but, it's just the location of it. And so let's look at what those new moon wishes in Aries were suggested for you. I see that they were, I want to easily find myself going in independent directions that are healthy and constructive for me. I want to easily find myself trusting myself. That's a good one. I want to view my setbacks as an opportunity for creative self-discovery. I want to connect with others in ways that awaken my own sense of self-discovery. And I want to easily find myself cultivating the habit of self-reliance. Our behaviors, our attitudes are cultivated over a period of time, and habits that we have in our daily life. And so those are your 5 wishes that were suggested during the new moon in Aries. And so if you seeded those wishes or wishes like those, we want to follow up, because that is what Great Mother came through for me to focus on with these readings for the new moon and for the full moon, is to really get down into how her energies work. She wants all of us to be able to connect with her. And so through our bodies, it's through the lunar energy, our emotional and our intuitive state. And emotionally and intuitively, Taurus Geminis are approaching this Scorpio full moon with an energy of deep emotional presence, an energy of really kind of surrendering to a path that has been diverted, possibly. Adi Shakti is your card, the primordial mother card. And isn't this a wonderful card to have? Because it's all about being able to accept the fact that a path has been diverted and to kind of rest and relax in that reality, to rest and relax in the fact that your desires, symbolized here by the Ankh, are really kind of being tabled for a more pressing, urgent issue at hand. So this Scorpio full moon for you Taurus Gemini people, a more urgent issue is at hand with regard to your 6th house. Your 6th house has to do with your health, perhaps your work-life balance, your service to the world, in fact. You know, sometimes we do get out of balance with that because we have such an initiative, such a soul initiative to bring forward what we want to share with the world, our gifts, our talents, and abilities. And especially now with the moon in Libra Scorpio conjunct Jupiter, this is even more amplified. And so maybe for you, this amplification with this waning gibbous moon is saying that there is a sharing, there is a thanksgiving that you have, there is a desire that you have to move forward, but the initiative is being somehow thwarted and somehow redirected. Let's just say the path is redirected in an unexpected way. So maybe your hopes of planting new projects, new ways to serve the world, maybe new health regimens or diets have not really happened the way you wanted them to be seeded at this particular time and how you had planned them to be seeded. I have to say, you have angels in the center of your reading, and the angel card in the Great Mother Speaks deck is about living in loving detachment. Living in loving detachment is about accepting what is. It's about accepting what is with love. This is what I teach my clients with Mama Drama Trauma, and how I healed from MDT was by accepting the reality of it and just day by day allowing myself to love my life's purpose, to heal from it, and to love the woman who birthed me in the world, who loved me to life, and to accept her in the reality of who she is every day, and so that's what loving detachment is. A lot of times when we feel like we have a particular initiative, we have a particular aim, and things get diverted, things get changed, we can feel unloved. We can feel uncared for. We can feel like in your situation, your life's purpose is not being realized, or that I'll never get healthy. I had put all my eggs in this basket. I had set up everything for this cleanse. I had done this and I'd done that. And now my doctor says that I can't do this kind of cleanse because it's such and such and such and such. We've all been there. And it's that kind of energy for you. But remember that your wishes were planted, they were seeded. And so again, working with those suggested wishes is very powerful. And let me show you, because Great Mother did come through and say to do this for the new moon, she's going to show you in this reading the wish that relates to how you're approaching this full moon cleanse energy of Libra Scorpio now. The wish: I want to view my setbacks as an opportunity for creative self-discovery. What about that? What about that connection? It could be a setback. You could definitely be viewing this diversion of your path, of how you're approaching this cleanse of your sixth house energy, as a setback. But by planting the wish, you want to view your setbacks as an opportunity for self-discovery. We can now see the reading with greater clarity and more specificity than we have in the past. So let's look at the transformative opportunity that's being offered by this experience at this time. The opportunity of GEMINI is offering you the viewpoint of surrender. This is the card in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, which is based on the 49 scenes of The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy is the poster child for Mama Drama Trauma. It is the scene when, just outside of Oz's castle, the poppy field is blooming by the wand of the Wicked Witch of the West. And Dorothy and Toto fall into the grass. Now, this is indicative and symbolic of our addictions, of ways in which we avoid pain, ways in which we avoid what we perceive to be too overwhelming to address. And so this setback for you, Taurus Gemini, could very well be perceived as something that's too overwhelming, too challenging for you to face on your own. Again, this Jupiter conjunction would definitely indicate that. But because it is a full moon of cleanse, and because that new moon wish of viewing it as a setback has been seeded, and now we have the first quarter moon, which is after the crescent moon, which is after the new moon, is about taking action, facing the challenge through your heart chakra. That's ego-soul alignment. We see that through the soul energy of this moon in Libra, Scorpio, reflecting the light of the sun, which is ego, action, material energy in your 12th house, we see that what is being cleansed is what you have learned from your experience. So what is it from your experience? Just like Dorothy, up to that point, she was a little girl who had run away from home and was trying to get back to a physical home. You see that? So we have half, light and darkness, great mother, father, God energy. Great father energy, that sun shining the light on the heart, on half of the heart. And so that light of the heart being pulled out, that heart chakra which is governed by Venus. Venus rules Taurus, your sidereal soul sign, and Libra, which is what the sidereal soul moon is in at this full moon time. So very transformative opportunity to see this setback as a way in which to view your life in a new way, in a more uplifting way, in a more empowering way. How to do that? Well, Great Mother doesn't want you to overlook the fact that the law of destiny and free will is in full effect, that you are the yin and the yang. You do have this primordial power to balance your life in any way that you see fit. So the sun being in the 12th house of Aries Taurus is all about seeding your desires. And so with that Taurus sun, and again, your sidereal is in Taurus, but the Taurus is in the Western. So that's that yin-yang balance. So we have, Taurus in your sidereal moon, but the sun in the Western right now. So she doesn't want you to overlook, you have a lot of yin-yang balancing energy here. You have the throat chakra. Chakras, we're talking about Vedic astrology, and the throat in the Vedic is ruled by Mercury, which is communication. Okay? It rules Virgo and Gemini. So Gemini is your Western, so we want to look at what does the throat rule in the Western. It rules Taurus. So you have all this yin-yang energy going on. She doesn't want you to overlook the fact that you have a lot of rebalancing power at your behest with this third quarter moon, which will allow the release, the letting go, the forgiveness that is necessary of yourself to surrender to what the process needs to be for you. Just like Dorothy, during the Twister dream, was invited to surrender her initial attempt to come back home. She had ran away and she came back home and was greeted by the Twister. She didn't even see Uncle Henry and Aunt Em. The Twister kicked up. Remember, she went into her room and hit her head. There's the farmhouse. She had gone back home, but Great Mother said it's not time. So whatever it was you were trying to initiate in the way that you thought, with your health, with your work-life balance, with your service, your gifting to the world, maybe there was some service that you needed at your home. Maybe there was some project that a service contractor or someone was going to come in and it was going to do a huge cleanse for you with this 12th house energy, with this full moon energy. Okay, it was going to just completely allow you to do that spring cleaning. Maybe it was a service issue for you that has been interrupted and your path has been diverted. You're like, oh, well, I planned that for months or for weeks or whatever, or suddenly, a pipe broke and I thought I've had the perfect person and how are we going to live like this? This is terrible, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, you have all of this water energy with the second and the heart chakra dealing with Jupiter, which rules the second chakra, and this amplified sixth house energy. That's why it could be something that is dramatic or traumatic as far as the disruption that has gone on around you with this Jupiter conjunct your sixth house. The addictive issue that is transformative as well also is water-oriented. Jupiter rules Pisces in the sidereal. And so, again, the chakra is, we're talking about Vedic. And so, for you, that has a lot to do with maybe there is a challenge as far as alcoholism, as far as water, again, pipes breaking, anything where there's too much of a liquid, too much of a liquid substance that is out of balance. And so Great Mother is saying that there is a transformative opportunity to rebalance your life. In other words, to view any type of setback associated with any of those things I've just discussed with you to be seen as opportunities for creative self-discovery. Now, why did Dorothy fall asleep in the poppy field? What does that symbolize? Well, that's what happened. When we have too much of a particular substance, it's out of balance, right? That's what Great Mother doesn't want us to overlook. But this is also an opportunity to ask for the help that you need to get back into balance, to get those pipes fixed, to get back on whatever cleansing that is right for your body, to offer your service to the world in a way that you have work-life balance. It's not over. It's just off to perhaps a bumpy start. And this is the scene when Scarecrow and the Tin Man did ask for help from Glinda the Good Witch, who symbolizes Great Mother. So ask for the help that you need. That's probably why you are here watching this reading, because it is your clear and present help. Just detach emotionally from any feeling of fault or shame, or you didn't do something right, or it's a karmic payback because you needed to do this and you needed to do that, and oh yeah, finally the pipes burst, or whatever, that kind of thinking. Lovingly detach from those kinds of thoughts as well. The angels are with you, assisting you. In your shadow position, there is Nefertiti, and so this further amplifies how important it is for you to live in loving detachment from anything that makes you feel less than a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God. Nefertiti is the Own Your Beauty card. This is when Dorothy does return the broom back to Oz very proudly holding it before him, and letting him know that, hey, we did what we were asked to do in order to have our wishes fulfilled. You have done what you've needed to do, which is simply be a divine child of the Great Mother, Father, God. That's enough. That's enough. And for some reason, you're not seeing that as a result of this setback. But you have planted other seeds. And those suggested new moon seeds in Aries that may relate to that have to do with wanting to easily find yourself going in independent directions that are healthy and constructive for you. So own that beauty, own that self-awareness that it is time for you to make the assessment that you need for your health, for your work-life balance, for your own services that you need in your life to facilitate more comfort, because Mars and Saturn are in your 8th house. And so this is also this Scorpion type of energy, rebirth, rejuvenation. Also has to do with inheritance. Oftentimes when people die, we're left with something. Again, that yin-yang balance in life is everywhere and within all things, including ourselves. So by owning your beauty, you're going to receive some insight from someone, either this reading or something that someone says, a song, a blog. This is 5th house energy 5th chakra energy that we have here. Again, the 5th chakra is ruled by Mercury, and your moon sign in the Western, Gemini, is ruled by Mercury. So this is really being emphasized for you, as we can see here in the center of the androgyne card. It's also 5th chakra energy. So Great Mother is speaking directly to you, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people, about there being something that is expressed to you at this time with regard to how to go about initiating your own independent direction in your life in a healthy and constructive way, that you are making your own decisions about your health. So Maybe you have heard something from someone who may seem to be unconventional, or that maybe you're waiting for someone else to verify as it's okay, or you wanting the co-sign of someone to actually give you the validation that it's okay. But you've already heard what you've needed to hear, and maybe even you are speaking certain truths to yourself and going back and forth and back and forth. This is what I'm getting with this position of what Great Mother does not want you to overlook, because if you look closely here at this symbol law card of destiny and free will, you have a single yin symbol and a double yang. So the single yin is always about receiving, and so that is where we get the receiving the information, receiving the communication. And the double yang is about acting on that with great intent and initiative, that easily finding yourself going in an independent direction that is healthy and constructive for you. Being very yang oriented. What is working for you? What are you consciously and intelligently choosing that is constructive for you at this time? Is in the shadow position. Great Mother is really wanting to emphasize and remind you of that suggested wish. Because what you're dancing with is the awareness that there may actually be a question that you have about who you are and what you are about at this time. You're not aware of it. These cards are in the shadow position. That means that they are not really in your consciousness at this time. They're really coming from more of your Taurus sidereal soul space. And this soul space really is a place where you intuit things from a very clear, focused, down-to-earth type of way. And so you don't have a lot of back and forth about the premonitions you receive, because emotionally, from the Western perspective, you are able to process it as a Gemini, which is intelligent, which is problem solving, which is communicative. And so when you're not aware of something, just your simple thought of desire, of wanting to be aware of something, desire, the Ankh, how you're approaching this full moon, you are on this diverted path and you're allowing that diverted path to take its course and surrender. You're just that desire, if you think or have the unction to be awakened and aware, you are quickly awakened and aware. And that's what this Pele card is all about. It is the crescent moon card of your spread, and that is, again, the energetic frequency that you're carrying this lunar cycle. It is all about you being able to know where you are operating and at what time with your yin and your yang. When you are receiving information, taking a beat, and knowing when you're downloading, and knowing when you are emoting, the difference between that, and what you tend to be in most of the time. Now, most of us tend to live in our emotional space most of the time. We're constantly reacting to the physical environment around us. But what this would indicate with the gut chakra being there, and that being emphasized as your shadow, the awakening opportunity for you is to pay more attention to that Taurian, intuitive, very clear, very direct, very calm, loving, internal wisdom that's coming through. At the bottom in the description, when I describe Great Mother as the comforter, the Holy Spirit, knowing what you know, the energy that inspires our solar sign, our sun action, it's in that space that Great Mother is saying that you're dancing right now, and that you are beginning a process of becoming more aware of that from an instinctual, visceral place. In order to really deepen that desire, as I said, as soon as you express a desire to be in that place, you are there towards Gemini Moon people. And so considering that you do, or that you would express that desire, what needs to be let go of are any
concerns you may have that things are not coming together, because they are for you. Everything's coming together for you this full moon. This is the third eye. Okay, and so the third eye is that insight. It is that intuition. And so Great Mother is saying, let it go. Let go of any doubts that is not what is exactly happening. This is underneath the angel card, which is a double yin, double yang card, saying that that balance is there. That ego soul balance is there. You don't have to worry about that. What will facilitate it, however, is the surrendering to this awareness. I know it's a lot. I know it's easy to say and harder to do. But because Mars, the masculine sign of action and initiative, and Saturn, the masculine sign of keeping soul on target, to fulfill its various purposes throughout its life. And your purpose at this particular time, this particular lunar cycle, is to plant the seeds of these wishes and to follow through by, at this time, the full moon in Libra Scorpio, releasing what is not feeding it. So we're weeding right now. This full moon is a weeding out right now. Pulling the weeds up and watering time, okay? And so one of the weeds, the biggest one that she says needs to be uprooted, is any doubt in your mind that things are coming together. That needs to be pulled up because the seed has been planted. You're in the twister. It's happening. You may not know exactly where you're going, and that's why you probably feel orphaned. You probably don't feel like all this is going on with Great Mother and all this direction and all this guidance and all this stuff. You probably feel like, well, yeah, I do need the buy-in. I'm not owning my beauty. I don't see it. Nobody's telling me all that. Nobody's saying that my decisions about my health and my work-life balance, and I don't have a roadmap. No, when we're taken up in the twister, there is no world map. That's why we need our angels and to surrender to that guidance. But how can we do that if we do not have the ability to awaken to that inner part of ourselves that knows how to identify who and where they are in our lives, what they're saying to us, how they're communicating to us? You have that ability to do that by simply accepting the law of destiny and free will. You have the free will to just through your thought towards Gemini moon people. All you have to do, because of your vibratory frequency, is just have the desire to connect. And when you feel that insecurity pull up on you again, have the desire again to connect. Because another wish that you had during the Aries new moon in relationship to this feeling of being an orphan was, I want to easily find myself cultivating the habit of self-reliance. So orphans grow up and eventually are able to take care of ourselves, aren't we? Even though, life is hard and things are challenging. And this is a new moon card, new moon root chakra card. Even though the root chakra has been completely devoured and debilitated through insecurities and feelings of unsafety and all of that, eventually, through the law of destiny and free will, activating our free will to trust our destiny is to act on the guidance that we receive. We're able to realize this is not where I want to be. This is the first scene in the film when Miss Gulch is shouting at Toto to get off of her property. And Dorothy is just dismayed. Why is this woman being so mean to my little dog? She symbolizes the drama mama, Miss Gulch. She incarnates into the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wicked Witch of the East, who tries to take Dorothy's shoes, the Wicked Witch of the West, who is killed by the twister, the house falling on her in Munchkin Land. Our fears continuously reincarnate until we face them. So this first quarter moon that has just passed was an opportunity for you to decide to surrender to the process. And apparently that is what you are in the process of doing this waning gibbous moon phase, which is directly after this full moon. And so there may be something that occurs, if it already hasn't, that does make you feel thrown off course, that does make you feel diverted in your plans of health, work-life balance, services, either that you're receiving or that you're giving to the world. And a little bit of alienation, because the sun is in Aries in your 12th house, which is all about the cleansing energy of this full moon for you, that is pulling out areas in which you do need to really just look at the journey that you've been through since the last lunar cycle. You know, there's been a journey that you've been through since March, and this new moon is very indicative of how you've been feeling since that last lunar cycle, or what may be how you feel at the May 15th Taurus new moon coming up. So everybody's at a different place in a different phase in these cycles, but energetically, you're all moving through them collectively. And what Great Mother wants you to know is that the support that is available for you to have your wishes fulfilled in these areas, including easily finding yourself, trusting yourself, has to do with the outcome to all of this ultimately in the Moses card of learning to live the law. The law is that gut chakra. The law is connecting to knowing who and what you are as a divine child of the Great Mother, Father God, who is worthy of guidance. And Moses was a guide for his people. Angels are guides for all of us, and connecting to that guidance, trusting and surrendering to that guidance in a way that allows us to experience synthesis in our lives. Just knowing things are coming together regardless of how crazy they seem. And isn't Dorothy shocked in this scene when the mayor of Munchkinland awards her for killing the Wicked Witch of the East? She's, why are these people awarding me for killing somebody? This is terrible. I'm Dorothy from Kansas. She didn't know who she really, really was because she had not been introduced to the reality of who Miss Gulch was until she ultimately dissolved her, the Wicked Witch, the drama mama. And that has to do with this taking back of the broom, taking your power back. That's why she had to get the broom. That was her power, the phallic symbol, that masculine, that yin-yang energy that's always operating. She had to speak for herself. She had to assert her own power. And for you, Gemini, it's all about communication. So there's something here about communicating your needs as it relates to this sixth house, service, health, work-life balance. It's more than likely you taking in what you are now clearly aware needs to happen. You've initiated something that you're reflecting on that is not working, and Great Mother is asking you to take a beat and realize it's not because you have been abandoned or left alone. It's because there's a better path for you. There's a better path for you. At the end, Oz tried to get Dorothy home in a balloon, and Toto jumped out of the balloon. Toto symbolizes Dorothy's intuition, which is why she was so upset about Miss Gulch taking him away, so much so she ran away. There was a better way for her to get home. Full moon realization, full moon realization. There's a better way. There's a better way, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people. Just learn to live the law. There's an antenna in the gut chakra which directly connects to the inner eye, the third eye. Trust that higher knowing. You get it from Taurus, that sidereal, which is very clear, very direct, down to earth. It's very grounded and practical, and trust it. Work with it, test it if this is new to you, because the angels are trying to speak to you. they're trying to, get you on your way and get that seed planted. Have these wishes come to fulfillment as they already are, but being more conscious of that by living the law of ego-soul connection, that gut and that higher knowing, that instinctual self to that higher self will make you enjoy the process more. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and sharing. But above all, and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks. I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana.
For more information
Maya,
about
Ishtar,
Mama Drama Trauma, visit mamadramatrauma.info.